Good morning and happy Flex Friday if you're playing over on PrizePicks. In case you guys don't know, later on in the day, PrizePicks is going to bless us with a $20 risk-free entry. So if you're not playing on PrizePicks, it's a great time for you to join up. Guys, if you're new to the channel, I highly recommend you hit the subscribe button. We're on our way to 21,000 subs. Let's see if we can hit that 21K marker today. I appreciate everybody who has subscribed to the channel. Drop a like on today's video. Let's set the line at 199.5 likes. I'm putting the pressure on you guys to hit that like button if you're watching today's video. And of course, ring that bell, turn on all notifications so you don't miss out on any content when I drop it here on YouTube. YouTube isn't always the best at alerting everyone when I post a new video. So if you turn those notifications on, you're guaranteeing yourself that you will be alerted when a new video drops. All right. As far as yesterday's picks go, both Jason Tatum and Nikola Jokic were involved in blowout games. Blowout games are not what you want when you take the overs on any player prop. So unfortunately, Jason Tatum falls 1 rebound and assist short. Boston beat the brakes off of Miami, unfortunately. And then you got Nikola Jokic, who left the game in the first half for a period of time with an eye injury. He came back, but by the time he came back, the Denver Nuggets were down by 20-plus points to the New York Knicks. And unfortunately, he just didn't have enough gas in the tank to hit the over on his rebounds and assists. So that's the way it goes sometimes. We're gambling. But anyway, let's look at today's PrizePicks plays. And as I mentioned, if you're not playing on PrizePicks, promo code Curry. You see it down below here. It's going to get you that 100% instant deposit match on your first deposit. So if you've never played on PrizePicks before, for every dollar that you put in for the very first time, they're going to match it dollar for dollar all the way up to $100, making your first bet here on PrizePicks completely risk-free. I've left a special link for you down in the description. Use code Curry, make that first deposit, and get started playing on PrizePicks. All right. I was looking at the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer today, and there was a lot of value up on the board. And what I mean by value is a lot of these green and yellow squares, but all that glitters isn't always gold, my friends. You got Trey Jones, who's listed as a game time decision, so I don't really want to go there or touch any Trey Jones props right now. Same thing with Clint Capella. He's also listed as a game time decision for the Atlanta Hawks, so we're not really sure what's going on with Capella, if he's going to play, if he's not going to play. And so, you know, we're kind of working around some potential injury situations. And basically, the 4 picks that I've put together today are all projecting well, but they don't have the greatest of hit rates. But the matchups are pretty solid. So let's take a look at some of these. We're going to start with this number 1 pick right here, which is Alperen Sengun, who's at 33.5 points and rebounds. He's taking on the Charlotte Hornets today. So just looking at Alperen Sengun's game logs, these are games from this season with Fred VanVleet, Jabari Smith Jr., Dillon Brooks, and Jalen Green all in the starting lineup for the Houston Rockets. And when you take a look at Sengun's lines, I mean, the hit rates aren't great, like I mentioned. 9 times out of 31 times has he gone over 33.5 points and rebounds. That's an average of just 30.7 points and rebounds, a 29% hit rate. Not what you really want to see, but as far as the matchup goes, the matchup is actually a pretty darn good one. If we go over here and look at this simple DVP chart from the last 7 games, we can see that the Charlotte Hornets are giving up the 4th most points to the center position, 28.4 points per game, plus another 13.6 rebounds. You add those 2 numbers together, and you're talking about 41 to 42 points and rebounds per game that the Charlotte Hornets are allowing to opposing centers. So the matchup is good, albeit the hit rates not being all that good. But when we take a look at some projections here, we're going to look at a couple different projections, couple different models. We look at Alperen Sengun's projection. I mean, he's projected for 36.8 points and rebounds, gang, on a line of 33.5 points and rebounds. So he's projected for nearly 3.3 points and rebounds higher today over here on Fantasy Labs. Now I'm going to show you a second projection. This projection is part of the EV Analytics projection tools. So when we go and look at Alperen Sengun, he's projecting for 35.18 points and rebounds. So you got 2 different projection models, 2 different projection systems that both like Alperen Sengun to go over or go for more than 33.5 points and rebounds. So that's a potential play for you. I would probably flex all of these picks because, like I said, I mean, it's just looking a little iffy right now. Let's look at the second pick, though. Fred VanVleet, 11.5 rebounds and assists. Again, they're taking on the Charlotte Hornets. Charlotte has been very bad defensively all season long. So we're looking at Fred VanVleet's game logs when he plays alongside of Sengun, Jabari Smith Jr., Dylan the Villain Brooks, and Jalen Green. And we got a total of 31 games. He has gone over in 18 out of 31 games. That's a 58% hit rate. Now, that's a better hit rate. That is a more palatable hit rate. I'd typically look for props that are hitting at about a 60% hit rate or higher. So this kind of fits the bill. He's averaging 12.4 rebounds plus assists per game. So when you take a look at the matchup here, I mean, Charlotte, again, they're giving up the 25th most rebounds to opposing teams, the 27th most assists to opposing teams. So the matchup is definitely a good one. We head over here, look at that DVP chart once again. We go take a look at how many assists per game that the Charlotte Hornets are giving up to opposing point guards in the last 7 games. They're giving up about 8.8 assists. And on top of that, 5.92, we'll call it 6 rebounds per game. So you're talking at about, a total of about 14 to 15 rebounds and assists given up to opposing point guards. So the matchup's not all that bad here for Mr. Fred VanVleet. Now, let's take a look at some projections here. We'll go to the rebounds and assists category. Punch in Fred's name, and you get a very healthy projection here. 12.9 projected rebounds plus assists. So the projection model really seems to like Fred VanVleet to clear 11.5 rebounds and assists. And I told you, we're going to look at a second projection. For this one, we got to go rebounds, and we got to turn on the assists, and then we type in Fred VanVleet's name. And then you get about 8.38 assists plus another 4.16 rebounds, putting him over 12, about 12.5 projected rebounds and assists today for Fred VanVleet. So again, Sengun, more. Fred VanVleet would also be a more play for me. He's got the higher hit rates between him and Sengun on those respective lines. Now, take a look at Damian Lillard here. Damian Lillard, Milwaukee Bucks point guard, taking on Cleveland. Seems like Cleveland and Milwaukee have played a lot this month. They've played each other. I think this is the 3rd time this month that they've played for the month of January. But Lillard at 6.5 assists, looking like an option that we might want to take the under on. If we go over here and take a look at Lillard's game logs, these are games played with Lopez, Adetokounmpo, Middleton, and Beasley all in the starting lineup. He's about a 53% hit rate is Lillard. 6.7 assists per game, 17 out of 32 times he has gone over. But we're looking at taking the under here. When we look at the games that Lillard has played at home, you can see that his hit rates over the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games at home are not so good. He's only gone over twice out of the last 7 times that he's played at home. 44% hit rate when playing in front of the Milwaukee Bucks fans, averaging 6.1 assists per game. And Cleveland ranks 2nd in total assists given up to opposing teams, meaning they're a hard matchup on paper. All right, it doesn't look like a great matchup for Damian Lillard on paper. Now, when we take a look at the head-to-head, I told you that these two teams have played each other quite a few times here over the last month or two. Lillard had 4 assists back in December against Cleveland. 4 assists just 2 days ago against Cleveland. And then you clear out the player filters here just to bring in more games. They've actually played them on the 17th of January as well, where Lillard had just 5 assists. So he's 0 for 3, covering 6.5 assists. He's gone under in 3 out of 3 games versus the Cleveland Cavaliers this season. So maybe today is more of the same. Maybe he stays under 6.5 assists going up against the Cavaliers. So taking a look at some projections here for Damian Lillard. We're going to go over here to Fantasy Labs and their action projection tools. We punch in Lillard's name. He's projected for about 6.2 assists today. We flip it over here and take a look at where he's at on the EV Analytics projections. And you see that he's projected for about 6.2 assists according to the EVA projection tool there. So both of them have him going closer to 6 assists than 7, putting him under that 6.5 assist number. Now, this last one is Zion Williamson, who's been in a cold slump, a streak of going under 32.5 points, rebounds, and assists. But today, he is a plus EV play to go over. Let's take a look here on the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer. And if you guys want to get your hands on this optimizer, I've left a special link for you down in the description of today's video. That'll save you 25% on your very first month. Check it out. Use code Curry when you're going to pay to save a few bucks. Now, Zion is a 53.7% chance of going over 32.5 points, rebounds, and assists. And as I mentioned, he's been pretty cold lately. Most of these sports books have him at 33.5. PrizePicks has him at 32.5. So he's a whole point, rebound, and assist lower on PrizePicks than he is on some of these other sites. So maybe we're getting a little bit of value. I mean, we're definitely getting a little bit of value, but will Zion actually go over 32.5 points, rebounds, and assists? I mean, it doesn't look promising, I'll be honest with you guys, but he is a plus EV play to go over. He's averaging just 30.2 points, rebounds, and assists when playing alongside of Valanciunas, McCollum, Ingram, Herbert Jones, and Murphy. So that's not a very good average. It's not very encouraging news for him to go over today. He's 7 out of 17 going over this number with all of the aforementioned players active for the New Orleans Pelicans. That's a 41% hit rate. And, you know, the only thing that really stands out to me is the fact that when he played the Oklahoma City Thunder earlier this season, he did clear his line, posting 38 points, rebounds, and assists versus the Thunder in that previous matchup. So, I mean, maybe there's a little bit of hope. Maybe there's a little bit of potential that Zion goes over 32.5 PRA before it's all said and done. Now, as far as the matchup goes, we go over to the power forward position. We take a look at the Oklahoma City Thunder. Guys, they are giving up quite a few points, rebounds, and assists to opposing power forwards. So this is a great spot for Zion to get back on track despite the terrible hit rates. 24 points given up, over 11 rebounds given up, and over 5 assists given up per game to opposing power forwards. So maybe there's hope for Zion Williamson yet. Taking a look at the projections here, we're going to go over to Fantasy Labs. He's projected for 35.2 points, rebounds, and assists, putting him almost 2 whole PRA, almost 3 whole PRA higher than where his line is at on PrizePicks at just 32.5. So a very healthy projection for him according to Fantasy Labs. And then we take a look at where he's at over on the EV Analytics tools. Just punch in his name. It's really that easy, folks. He's projected for 32.93, a little bit lower, but still closer to 33 PRA than he is at 32 PRA. So are any of these plays a slam dunk? I mean, I don't know. I'd probably say go more on Zion Williamson. Just trust the projections, trust the matchup. But no, I mean, to be honest with you, like I said, it's one of those days, at least early on, where some of the value just maybe isn't as great as it seems on the surface. But always do your own research, dig a little deeper. Let me know down in the comment section, are you liking any of these picks, plays, or props? Yes, no, maybe so. I'd love to hear your feedback. I try to answer each and every comment. I appreciate you guys and all your support, and we'll catch you in the next video. Good luck. Peace.